Now I know there is a Norwegian watching, which is pretty fun.
Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to A Tangent About Dragons, the new 5th edition real play D&D live stream from the Tangent stream, I guess. I am Alex Bullivant, also known as Noodles. I will be your dungeon master for this evening. Joining me today, the illustrious Sparks, as always. Say hi, Sparks.
Hello.
The ever-present Mir, who will be playing a character that we'll introduce in a second. Say hi, Mir.
Hello.
And the effervescent Pokerpug, who will no doubt annoy me greatly throughout the next hour and a half or so. Say hi, Poke.
Hello.
So 2 voices you guys should recognise by now, and 2 who you have never met before. So for those new to Dungeons & Dragons is a tabletop role-playing game that's kind of hit a renaissance in the previous few years. Of course, we're not playing over a table, we're playing across several different countries, but the ways we get around that will become apparent soon. This world space is a homebrew world space, and we're using some homebrew content as well. That means it's just some nonsense that I've made up. Links to the homebrew mechanics will be available in the description, and then once I've done a more sort of detailed, more new person friendly write-up of the world and such, we'll be releasing that in the description as well. But right now it's just a jumble of notes that only I understand, so I won't put you guys through that. But yes, so we begin on an airship. What was the airship called again, guys?
Gubben.
The Guben.
Gubben.
It's spelt Gubbin, but pronounced Norwegian-y, I guess. Oh, the first dog bark. That's good.
Sorry.
Poe is a dog. We were trying to hide that fact, but...
Right, yes. So we start on an airship, which I must... I will also point out that this UI, whilst beautiful and fantastic, does need a fair amount of playtesting. So some things might not work in the first session, but as far as we're aware, we have most of the stuff done, so that's fine. But anyway, so we start on the Gubbin. I'm just going to refer to it as that.
Noodles, you're going to want to refresh the dice rolling thing because.
Is that why it's having some fun in the background?
Yep, you would need to refresh it.
A dice rolling thing is doing some interesting nonsense. We start on the Gubbin.
I finished it 5 minutes ago.
which is the airship that all of our players currently live and exist on. The captain, Mir, who is playing. I think it's. Which one are you playing, Mir? Sorry. And see, now I'm trying to refresh things and remember who I'm DMing. This is what you've done to me.
I told you to refresh before we started.
Shush
Amazing
you.
planning.
We're hammering out kinks. It's fine. Yes, it's Hertha. Hertha is Mir's character. We start with Hertha, who is the captain of this ship. Who is this ship is on its way to its current destination, the port town of Shale, which is a harbour town on the tether of Marsden. Hertha sits in her captain's quarters. How is she decorated, this captain's quarters, Mia?
This captain's quarters is very barren. There is a surprising lack of stuff in it. There is a bed, there is a chair, a desk, a couple of books, but most of the stuff has been thrown out. You can see it's just like a surprising lack of stuff. It's just the bare essentials in this captain's quarters.
Fair enough. So as you sit there, you can hear the rumbling and the groans of this airship as it's sort of less graceful is not the word I would use to describe this ship. A lot of airships in the current age have been engineered to a point where they actually fly pretty well. These giant hunks of metal can stay in the air under their own power, and besides a service here and there, they generally seem to fly pretty well. The Gubbin, on the other hand, is a beaten up mess of a ship
It's pretty
of
busted.
sorts. It flies, certainly.
But it's mine.
But whereas with a normal airship you would say, yeah, it flies. The Gubbin is always more of a it flies kind of inflection. Two rooms down is a water genasi, I believe. Poke, am I right?
Yes.
A water genasi by the name of Yosefa, who is sitting in her newly acquired room aboard the Gubbin. How has this room been decorated, Poke?
So Yosefa, who would kill the first person to actually call her that because she much Joey, her room is actually scary neat, which greatly contradicts herself in general. She has in the corner a small chest that holds some clothes, other valuables. There are maps pinned up all over the walls. She has a spyglass, a gold compass, and a protractor and pencil compass, even more maps just scattered on the floor.
Huh.
There's a big fancy old rug laying on the floor that looks kind of suspicious, and there's a small black book on the table beside her bed.
Fair enough. So oddly neat for somebody so large and vicious, I would say, because Yosefa's quite well built, isn't she? She's the fighting type, as it were.
Yeah, she enjoys a good round of fisticuffs.
Fair enough. And in the room next to Joey, as it were, is a small gnome lady by the name of Wren, who really enjoys being sort of further towards the back of the ship, where all the grunts and the groans are far more prevalent. Wren, of course, played by Sparks.
Yeah.
Sparks, how is this room decorated?
Wren definitely likes being able to hear the groan of the engine from here. She can rush to the engine room quickly as well if something goes wrong. But yes, the room is very much an extension and almost a metaphor for Wren, as opposed to Joey's room being so opposite, which is that the whole thing would take a long time to describe in detail because there's so much stuff. There, like, along the walls, there's just like tools hanging, and the bed is very neatly made, but the workstation, which takes up pretty much all of the available space in the room aside from the bed, is just absolutely covered in bits of machinery. Zachlad gets the joke in my name. That's good. Machinery, screws, oil is sort of a little puddle of it on the floor. There's a tiny stool that's just made for sitting on, and like a lot of, just stuff. All of the little bits that are either in repair for the ship or just like pet projects of Wren's that she's working on at the moment.
So rather like my office as a musician is just me basically climbing in and out of a bunch of instruments every day. Wren's room is just less of a room, less of a bedroom, as it were, and more just a cupboard full of mechanical objects that happens to have a bed in it.
Oh yeah. It's almost like a storeroom that is also used to store her when she's not in the engine room. I swear.
Perfect.
So, this floor of the Gubbin has four quarters for the crew. You have the captain's quarters where Hertha is. You have the and then just three rooms, two of equal size and one slightly shorter. Someone has pointed out that these doors are far too big, which, yes, you are correct. However, this is clearly a rough blueprint. You're fine.
Excellent defense.
When they built the ship, there was 30% off on doors, but what we didn't realize is we were still paying full price. We just got larger doors.
Yeah,
like
effectively,
30%
yes.
larger doors.
30% larger doors. Incidentally, these doors are each one of these squares is about 5 foot. So these doors are about 5 foot in width, which is slightly wider than a conventional door. But whatever.
And we are all fatties, apparently.
Yes, you will take up 15 square foot. No, anyway. Shush you! I'll shorten you all when it matters. Directly, sort of this large open space out here is a sort of breakout area. It's got the kitchen. It's got some seats. It's got a radio and stuff like that. Where the crew can just hang out between jobs. The gubbin is a shambling excuse for a trade vessel, sure, but a trade vessel nonetheless. And the crew of vessels such as this need a place to relax and unwind while they're going back and forth between places. Directly across from Wren's room is the main sort of mechanical belly of the ship, as it were. Sort of boiler. It's got all the different connectors and stuff like that in it. That's where if something goes wrong, you can usually diagnose it from in there. Next to that, this slightly longer, shorter room is just a general storage area for things that you don't particularly want out in the break area, or on the lower deck of the ship, which is the main cargo hold. And then, of course, you've got the bridge, which has the ship's wheel. It's just got an area for someone else to sit, and the navigator's table, which has a large, wide open space for maps and stuff, which no doubt Joey will be making great use of.
Oh yeah.
As well as the radio to get in contact with various ports and harbours and stuff, so you can actually get clearance to dock, and etc. etc. So, brief sidebar to viewers. I apologise. I have a cough. We're just going to have to live with it. I have tried. You have no idea. Anyway, on the lower deck of the ship, and indeed the reason why you're all here, is the slightly longer, shorter room. Yes, Zach Loud, I heard that as I said it. It is slightly longer, but also slightly shorter on different axes. Okay. Blue asks, "What's this about?" This is a Dungeons and Dragons live stream where we're just playing some 5th edition D&D with a bunch of idiots on an airship. So this could all end in 20 minutes when they try and dock the airship. I'm just saying. Anyway, the reason why you're all here downstairs in the cargo hold of the Gubbin is a crate that's been very well packed together. It took 2 of you to bring it onto the ship comfortably. Where you guys came from? What's that? Sorry. Somebody spoke.
Poke?
Nope.
That was Poke.
No. Okay. Cool. Might have just been a feedback thing. That's fine. Again, hammering out kinks. Where you guys came from? I believe it was Hertha who first noticed a message up on the post office board.
Joey.
Yeah, it was Joey.
It was Joey who got the mission.
Yes, she noticed a thing tacked up on the local post office board, basically offering 10,000 gold for safe delivery of this package, this large crate. 5,000 now, 5,000 on completion. You guys have been in transit for about 2 days now with this mysterious crate in the hold. The only stipulations that came with this were that you hand it off to a contact who will make themselves known on the other end, and you were to not look inside this package. I assume none of you have looked inside the package.
No.
No.
I considered looking in it, and then you made me very scared to look inside the box.
So a couple of days ago, Sparks, expecting me to say no, asked if he could look inside the box. And I apparently far too quickly said, yeah, sure.
Well,
and now he is scared of the box.
And the clapping.
I thought if I look inside it before the campaign starts, my character can't die, but that logic kind of...
Incorrect!
...died. Along with my curiosity. Pretty quick, so I'm kind of scared of the box myself right now.
So, Hertha, as you're sort of sitting, your room, whilst being scarcely decorated, and as you described it, has a little bit more in it. It's just got a table and a couple of benches. It's like a captain's ready room as well as your sleeping quarters. So you're just kind of sitting, chilling, doing whatever.
Yeah.
When the what you've come to know as the telltale chirps of the autopilot requesting a handover comes screeching in from the adjacent room, You know from this that you are approaching your destination, and must begin the sequence necessary for gaining clearance to dock your ship and landing it. So if you would like to attempt to assemble your crew, then now would be the time to do that.
Just quickly regarding people talking about opening the box and stuff, my favorite theory that the players have come up with for what's in this box is that there is a small gnome or creature inside which, when you open the box, it flashes you with one of those Men in Black memory erasure things. And makes a little tally as to how many times you've looked in the box, and then you forget you've looked in, and it's just kind of counting how many times you've looked, and actually you think you haven't, but you...
Yeah, so basically... We've all looked in the box about 20 times already. That's what happened. But we don't know that.
The thing where that theory starts to either fall apart or get infinitely better is the fact that this box, when you look at it, is still perfectly sealed. So at some point, you must have looked inside this box, this gnome must have given you a talking to, and then somehow convinced you all to perfectly seal this box again before wiping your name.
Okay. The other theory is that it's the Death Note from the anime Death Note, but plot twist, our names are written in it.
Which is actually a sick-ass plot thread that we're not exploring, sadly.
Yeah.
To be honest, Sparks, when you said a little gnome inside flashes you, I got a little bit scared.
Well, I'm playing a little gnome, so we'll see how this goes.
So let's keep Wren's clothes on.
Anyway, sorry.
It's a love story. Okay, yeah.
Joey, do go on. I will get back on topic now.
It's Hertha, I believe, who is going on. Hertha is, of course, the captain of this ship.
Yeah.
Of course.
Hertha is the captain just because she has a boat. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So...
It's a ship.
A boat. So, okay. She's gonna, she hears this, so she's gonna be like, oh, okay. And she's just gonna kind of mosey around, look around in the steering area.
Okay.
And then she's just gonna I think she needs Joey because they're gonna have to communicate with the port. Mm-hmm. So she's gonna mosey around. She's gonna go to Joey's door and be like,
you do have an internal intercom system, so you can call on people from inside this cabin.
Hertha does not do that, however. She's just gonna go to Joey's door.
Is it like electrical or like a series of tubes?
So, long-distance communication, vocal communication in this universe works through, as a result of the invention of a kind of sending stone, almost. It's a stone that basically has the message spell imbued into it in such a way where if you have seen a person and have met a person and have kind of touched these stones together or done... There's a couple of ways you can do it. You basically have that person's number is the best parallel I can bring, and you can call back and forth. So the way that will work for internal intercom systems is it kind of just sends message relays round to itself, I guess, just focused on different crystals. Radios work the same way. These crystals are attuned to one broadcast source that can be selected, and that broadcast source broadcasts to several of these stones at once, and that's how radios work. So that's how long-distance communications works, through the use of these sending stones.
Do they have a similar range to radio?
It's magical.
It depends. More range would require more power, so I guess yes in that regard.
Okay.
Yes. And for anybody who's thinking about playing a bard in future, using spells that influence people's minds over radio is incredibly illegal, so don't even think about it. But yes, so, sorry, Hertha, you are outside Joey's room.
She just kind of timidly knocks on the door and is like, Joey, hello, we're approaching the thing, so we should kind of, and then she leaves and goes back to the, to the thing. And, I guess she starts trying to get a view on things.
Just starting the general ways that you would descend. Okay, Joey, you heard a knock at your door. and a muffled kind of call to action, as it were. How do you respond to this?
So Joey's already up, so she's just going to kind of throw the door open and run into the room because she's very excited to be landing at port. And she's going to kind of, essentially, she's going to kind of like push past Hertha really hard to look out the window.
Okay, so how do you move aside? I'm a shorten these things down now, I think. It's probably the best way to go about this. If we're all going to be crammed into the same room. She's going to be looking out the window and kind of like, oh, holy crap, we're going to land. Do you know how to do it, or do you want me to do it?
And Joey's energy next to Hertha just being like, yeah, you can do it if you want to. If you really want to, you can do it. I can do it. You can do it.
Joey, do it. Have you ever landed an airship before?
Actually, not an airship.
Just a normal boat. And
just a boat.
The only difference between an airship and a conventional ship is just an extra axes, so it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Wren calls from her room, ship.
Her way of thinking is kind of like, how different can it be? Instead of hitting water, you hit the ground. You just.
I'm still in my room, aren't I?
Yep, I'm just
Oh,
sizing
right, you're just resizing
for later.
I'm just going into the engine room for sizing up. Got it. Not the engine room, yeah.
Yes.
The room Wren isn't interested in so much.
Yeah, Wren, I imagine you're vaguely aware. You can probably gain. You're intelligent enough to probably grasp the fact that you're coming into land. You will have vaguely heard the chirping. You will have heard the knock on the door and people milling around outside.
Can I be spot welding? Do we have spot welders? This is why I was asking about the electricity earlier.
Oh, okay. You can have a spot welder in the sense that it's more of an enchanted rod of some description that just has a very hot, intense blue flame at the end. You're kind of holding it like a stylus.
Okay.
And you can spot weld that way, as it were. You can hold like a bit of malleable metal against the end of this stylus, and you can be doing that. So okay. Yes, you're there. Sparks are flying. You've got your welding visor down.
Yes. And okay, that's good.
As your room is just illuminated by these sparks that are showering off, and I'm assuming that's what you're doing. Yes, you're just going to stay in there.
Blue wants to know how it stays in the air, and I do too, because last time I asked, you didn't know yet.
So, these airships are sort of partially held in the air by... mostly held in the air by... I guess that I try to avoid cultural touchstones where I can, but in the interest of time, it's kind of like the helicarrier, for the shield helicarrier, but smaller. It's got some rotors facing up and down, back and forth, and it kind of moves around based on that, as it were. So it is purely mechanical.
Okay.
This civilization has advanced enough to have a functioning knowledge of aerodynamics. Some airships are more Zeppelin in nature. Some airships are held up entirely by magic, but this specific model of airship is entirely mechanical.
Can we kind of compare it to Treasure Planet? Or...
Wasn't the ship from Treasure Planet like an actual, like...
That was a space pirate ship.
That was a space pirate ship.
But like, if you size it down. If you just like do the Photoshop thing and just zoom.
No, it's more. So in the sense that the Treasure Planet ship is like a giant pirate ship that flies through space, this is more of like a space Ford Transit van. It kind of just has like a lot of space in the back.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, this is not an elegant ship. This is not a particularly sought after ship. It flies, and that's it. And speaking of it flies, Joey has now taken the wheel.
Hertha's standing by, just like watching over very, very carefully.
Hertha is standing to one side. Demon Pixel says, so where are the dragons at? I will answer that question in a minute. So,
In the box.
In the box.
It's in the box.
That's what's in this crate in the cargo hold. Yes, correct. You've seen straight through me. So, looking through the main window, you guys can see on just a sea of clouds and blue sky. Ahead, just sort of coming into view, you can see the tether of Marsden. Now, tethers in this world are floating islands that vary in size and vary in populace, and some have their own just like completely closed off ecosystems and such. They are scattered throughout what's known as the 12 sectors, which we'll no doubt get into later on. Right now, you just need to know that we are in the 12th sector. The answer to the question, where are the dragons, is that these tethers are bound to the exposed magma core of what used to be a planet, which is surrounded by an impenetrable, constant purple-black thunderstorm of fog and cloud. Many expeditions have been sent out there. Absolutely zero have returned. And it is said that the dragon, known as the End Serpent, also called Foul by some people, has been himself tethered to this exposed magma core after he attempted to break free of what used to be a singular planet and shattered it into thousands of pieces, which are these tethers that we now see through the front of this through the front window of the gubbin. You two in the front will know that in order to land without repercussion, you must first radio forward to the port and request docking clearance. So, which one of you would like to do that?
I mean, since Joey's just kind of ripped the wheel away from her, maybe Hertha should do it.
I love how you've walked in. The captain has gone. Hey, if it's not too much bother, could you come and do that thing I'm paying you for? Thank you. And then immediately scurried away. You burst out of the door, gone, fuck yeah, ran in, ripped the wheel away from your captain, and gone, you do my job.
Oh my gosh.
Just to be clear, that's what's happening here, right?
Hertha's gonna approach the radio and just kind of look at it and immediately realize she does not know how to use it.
Hertha's going to
turn
roll
back to
over and
Joey.
play dead.
And they're just kind of like, do I tell her? Joey, how do you turn it on?
And sure enough, as Hertha walks over to the navigator's table, she sees a metal box with some dials on it, and then a metal sort of receiver with a coiled cable coming out of it. You pick it up with your hand and look back over to Joey and ask how it works, I guess.
Is it on? Can I tell if it's on?
Roll an intelligence check.
Oh
Which
no.
is a
Okay, so I use the
D20
thing, right?
just plus your intelligence modifier.
Okay. So that's a 15 plus intelligence, so that's 16.
Okay, you look at it.
Hang on. Did you use my button?
Yeah, I did.
Sorry, I'm looking in the wrong place. I didn't see the thing rolling. Okay, it's fine. Shh.
Yeah.
Okay, so some housekeeping. Won't bring this up every time we use this. You'll see the number 15 in the bottom of the screen underneath Hertha's stats. That is a dice rolling thing that we have that shows the number before we add modifiers on. So in this regard, Mir has rolled a 15 and then added what, sorry?
Plus 1.
Plus 1, which will be her intelligence stat on her character sheet.
Yeah.
You look down at this box, and you've seen enough mechanical objects in your time, and you're familiar enough with the most of what happens on a boat to know that this is not on. Like, this has just been turned off at some point in transit, and it is not on anymore. There's a number of buttons on the front. None of them are labelled in a particularly useful manner.
I look back at Joey, I look back at the thing, and I'm like, oh, okay. Can I tell what button turns it on? Is it any way to tell?
Roll a roll an investigation check.
Investigation. Okay, another
Yes.
d20. Oh, natural 20!
Natural 20. You... Okay, so for those who are unaware with how 5th edition D&D works, a natural 20 is a critical success. In most regards, this will be an immediate success. Obviously, different DMs, which is the person who runs the game, will run this differently. Personally, with me, things like surviving a critical blow to the jugular with a sword or something like that, nothing's going to save you. But in instances like this, where Hertha sort of waves her hand in front of this radio, sort of furrows her brow really intently, and tentatively just presses one of the buttons, and you just kind of hear a thum as this unit sparks into life.
It scares me. Ugh. Turn on!
Do you think my character can tell that, like, things are moving a bit slowly up there and stuff is going wrong between the two roles being played out there?
Roll a perception check.
All right, so that's a 20.
Is that a natural 20?
No. I'm rolling a d20, right?
Yes, it's a d20.
And what do I add to that? Perception is plus 3,
yeah.
I think. So
Yes.
d20. I'm rolling a d20, and I get 2.
Oh no!
No.
Plus 3.
3 though.
Means you
5.
roll 5. So you... Wren has sort of stopped welding briefly, whatever she's doing, when you heard the soft knocking of your captain on your neighbour's door, and then immediately went straight back to just continuing this weld. Is it a particularly good weld, do you reckon, or is it kind of just you know what, this will stick together?
It's a pretty detailed project, I think.
Okay, it's a pretty good weld. And while she's in her own little world, trying to make this weld as perfect as possible, time has begun to have very little meaning, and Wren hasn't really noticed anything with regards the slowness of the proceedings up in the bridge.
You know what? This sounds like Wren anyway, so I'm okay with this. Let them sort themselves out. I thought I'd come in and like try and mediate, but it's all good. I'll just stay here and work on my prototype.
That's cool.
Spud nugget.
Fair
machine.
enough. Okay, we have 2 pertinent questions in the chat. Demon Pixel. What's the M bringing? That's what that says. I should put my glasses on. That would probably help me see things at a distance. M bringing says, "Wait, how are the islands tethered to this magma core?" So, as you may have seen from the swiftly moving loading screen lore, this world is known as Alma, A-L-M-A, Alma, which was the name of the god who served the planet that was roughly 2,000 years ago when this whole thing happened. And as the End Serpent sort of broke free and shattered the world, the benevolent god Alma gave most of her power to tether the End Serpent to the core of this planet. And then as she did that, or as they did that, gave the rest of their power to kind of keep these tethers suspended, based around that. So it's basically the last ditch effort of a benevolent god trying to save a thing that they presumably created. No one really knows. It was 2,000 years ago. Many people still believe that in some way Alma still exists as an entity, but if they do, they are far too weak to have any like tangible effect on the on the world as we now know it. And then Demon Pixel, does Noodles have a book to know what each dice number does and what kind of check is needed in what situation? I have been playing 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons for about 8 years, so I have a good knowledge of, and I've been running games for 6 years, so I have a good knowledge of what to ask for and what does what in certain situations by this point. Yes.
Yes.
Whereas I have never played a full campaign and barely know what I'm doing.
And I made a really bad campaign with some friends that just went horribly, and I never wanted to speak about it.
And then I think Poke said she hasn't played since last Christmas. So
Yeah, it's been a while.
Don't be so hard on yourself, Mia. I bet the doors in your campaign were better than this one.
Yeah,
Doors
sure.
just mean we
let's-
have the
yeah.
chance to bring like horses onto the ship or something.
But there is a third bedroom.
there is someone asked
Oh,
if the
yeah.
third room or the fourth room, as it were, had been occupied at any point. The room, which is something that Joey and Wren will have noticed, which I believe Hertha hasn't really addressed in a straightforward
No.
sense. That room is just locked and no one's allowed in there. So,
Yeah.
having only been on the ship for about 2 days, you guys were obviously met as Hertha was rounding up people to be on the crew. Hasn't really been of much bother to you guys. Like, there's plenty of ship to explore without, a room that the captain has stated is off limits. So, but that
Yeah.
room is locked, and only Hertha
Okay.
appears to know
The
what's
door
in it.
just appears open. Okay.
Yeah, it's just to show where the angle of the door. I don't know. It's locked though. Yeah.
Demon Pixel, I've never played this game ever. 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons is very fun, and I fully recommend Wizards of the Coast.
And very
to-
easy to learn.
Yes,
It's very easy to
surprisingly.
learn.
Wizards of the Coast have a free PDF with the basic rules that you can download, which I fully recommend doing. This is a fantastic game.
Or
Anyway,
you can do as I did and invest hundreds of pounds into this game without having played one session.
that is also an option that I
Genius.
don't recommend. As Hertha presses this button and this radio thrums into life, you hear static sort of breaking through to begin with, kind of coming through the main speaker on the front, and sort of coming through. You hear the voice of presumably a man going, unidentified ship. Please state your ship name and intention. We recommend you don't proceed any further until you have done this. And then the telltale sounds of someone releasing the button on their end, just the plays, and there is silence. You are
Releasing
expected to
the-
respond.
Button on a gem. It's nice to know that gem communication has the same audio compression as radios do. That's the case that this universe was created in a similar way to ours, with the Big Bang radiating a lot of random noise out from still.
Hey, it's entirely possible.
Yeah.
Like parallel universe theory even encourages this idea, and so do I, the person who is God in
Yeah.
this scenario. Sparks. Anyway,
Okay.
so yes.
Now it's the question: which button do I press to respond?
Okay, I won't make you roll an intelligence check for this. You are holding the receiver in your hand, and there is one button where your thumb
There's
is.
one button on it.
Please make a roll.
Please make her roll.
Roll an intelligence check
I'm gonna roll.
to see if you understand how to tense 3 muscles.
Not
You rolled
rolling.
that
What's
twice
going on?
and got
You
2
rolled a
results
5
below
and
10.
then
Oh,
an
shit.
8. Are you done rolling?
That's
No,
just going for
Oh, a 2. Plus 1, which is 3.
3. So as the person on the other end rings off, you just sort of stand there, this receiver in your hand, looking around. Again, like you worked out that the buttons on the front of this thing do something, so you're just kind of like scowling, and you're like holding this receiver out of your way as if like it covering your eye line is somehow hindering your progress here, and you're just pointing at buttons. Joey, you notice this, and as the navigator, you understand full well how to use the radio.
I'm so glad you made a roll.
Hertha just looks over her shoulder at Joey, just like, help me.
Joey's just gonna roll her eyes and be like, "Fine, you take the fun part," and then she'll go home and take the radio.
Hertha's just gonna clutch like the steering wheel and like, okay, I'm safe.
Oh, phew.
Okay, I know how to do this.
With everybody back at their actual assigned positions for which their characters were designed. Joey, you of course, standing not 10 feet away, heard and know from memory the protocol for requesting a landing space, you should clearly state your ship's name and request a landing space. Whether or not you do that, however, is completely up to you.
I was gonna make a joke, but you'll take me seriously. So Joey's gonna take it. She's gonna say, "This is the Gubbin. We're requesting a landing as soon as possible. I want to put this on the ground."
I'm just gonna point out EJ Monkey. How does this person captain a ship? She tries. She tries her hardest.
She's doing her best.
When you lie on your resume but still get the job.
She's basically here because she owns the ship.
Yeah,
it's just my boat. That's the thing.
Shit.
she's captain by
Yeah.
default.
Yeah.
It's like when you're in your teens and your parents go out of town for the weekend and you invite people over and you're like, yeah, this is my house. It's kind of like that, but also if left alone for more than 5 days, the dishwasher would break, the toilet's clogged, like no one knows what's going on.
Don't
No
call me
washing's
out,
been
noodles,
done.
please.
I like the situation that like Hertha's having a house party and Joey just kind of kicked in the door and said, "It's my house."
Oh dear. Okay. As you ring off, Joey, there's a brief beat, and the response comes through as like, "Receiving you, Govern. We are we have a landing space available for you. Please proceed." And then they ring off. So, I would like Hertha to make it's an animal handling check, but it's flavoured as a vehicle handling check in this regard,
Okay.
I guess. I could be completely wrong, but that's how I'm going to do it here.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna roll a d20.
Yep. I'm going to...
19.
Ooh, nice.
Woo!
19
yeah.
plus 2. That's a 21.
I just googled vehicle handling check to make sure I'm doing this right. This is how I'm doing it this time. If it changes next time, it's because I was hideously wrong. But I didn't search vehicle handling check 5e. I just searched vehicle handling check and just got a bunch of driving instructors recommended at me. So
Oh wait, am I
So
proficient
that's
in
good.
this?
sorry.
Did we talk about that? If I was proficient in
You would
vehicle?
be. Yeah.
Yeah, I would be. So it's a 23 then.
23. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, with far more grace and expertise than you showed when trying to handle the radio, and in fact, feeling slightly embarrassed at the fact that you can flawlessly handle an entire ass boat, but can't work out how a radio works. You let's say expertly bring your ship down into the assigned parking spot, as it were, for this boat. You guys can see out of the front there are some dock hands already throwing ropes and just tethering your craft to the dock.
Wren starts spot welding faster because she worries she's about to get disturbed.
Yeah, actually, Wren, you as this ship sort of like comes in, there is a noticeable kind of like thunk and a rumble. I would like you to make a sleight of hand check to stay steady with this world of yours.
Oh dear. Sleight of hand, yes. Is that a 20 as well?
Yeah, it's a D20. Yes. So for anyone new to 5th edition,
Plus 7.
any skill or ability checks are made with a 20-sided dice, known in shorthand as a D20.
Ooh, 5 plus 7 is 12.
Okay, cool. So
I made this thing so I didn't have to do maths, and I still have to do maths.
it's cool. We'll add it later. So as the goblin thunks into place in its dock, you notice that you were nudged. Somebody who is either less versed in spot welding or just cares less, I guess, probably wouldn't really notice, but you notice, and it annoys you a little bit. You also are now fully aware that you have docked.
As in,
so-
I slightly misweld, is that what you're saying?
Effectively, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Very slightly. It's still perfectly serviceable. It just doesn't look pretty. It's the
Damn.
kind of weld that you can probably like fix just by like, angle grinding or however people fix welds. I don't know. I'm a musician, not a not a welder.
I think the principle's about the same. You just tune it.
You tune it.
I think the principle's about the same.
have you never heard of tuning an engine?
In the sense that everything I make is hot fire, yes. But outside of that. Anyway, everyone's noticed my overuse of the word tether, even though every use of the word tether has been entirely correctly placed. But yes,
You also
it's
keep
not
using
lost
the word
on me.
spark,
I can hear
like
it as
you're
well.
advertising him constantly.
Gubbin, isn't that a Pokemon? Lol.
I think you're thinking rubbish.
Quite possibly. Anyway, so you guys have successfully parked your ship. Congratulations. So
Hertha gives a little cheer.
the radio
Joey would like
sparks
to
up
know.
again. Oh, sorry.
Joey would like to know if Hertha could do it perfectly. Why did she say you do it?
I don't know. You wanted to, I suppose.
Just Hertha's a
I wanted
massive
to be nice
pushover.
about it.
How
I'd
far
like to
can my
point
character
out-
hear? If that door is open, can I hear people in the...
The doors aren't open. They're just there to show that they are doors.
Okay, I feel like we need to work on this for the next next stream.
This is how
Open up all
blueprints are
doors on
written.
floor plans.
This is how you show doors on blueprints.
Fine.
Anyway.
Okay.
The radio sparks up again, and Joey, but also Hertha, just hears. Okay, Govan, thank you for a successful landing. Do you require any aid with unloading? We have dockhands to staff. We have cranes if necessary. What do you need? And they ring off.
Do we know how much that would cost?
Okay, first of all, do we
Wren
need
certainly
any?
wouldn't.
Yeah, Joey kind of being a little more impulsive and I can do everything myself is going to kind of look at Hertha and look at the radio and go, nah, we're good.
And Hertha is kind of like, oh, okay.
Well, we did get our only cargo in with just 2 people, so we should be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, should be fine.
Okay, cool.
If not, we blame it on Joey, so it's fine.
Okie dokie. So yeah, you normally you have.
Noodles, your mic cable again.
Okay, cool. Bear with me 1 second while I sort that
Noodles
out.
is the audio. Unplug it and plug it back in again.
As I keep pointing out every time this is brought up, I have more
And
points
that
of
didn't
failure.
fix it.
Sorry?
It didn't fix it.
Oh, for God's sake.
Not even devoted to his own universe.
I know.
Right?
Anyway. Yep. So all you guys have to do now
Apparently
is...
we have no sound at all now
Oh, fun.
on the stream.
On the stream?
Yeah, I can hear you, but people are saying that they can't hear us anymore.
Hmm.
Right.
Interesting.
Oh shit.
Has OBS defaulted to a different audio source?
Maybe. I'm just going to restart the stream, I think.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
At some point, are we?
Oh, for God's sake.
Did you stop?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh crud.
What did
Well,
you?
Hopefully you can restart it. Okay.
Whoopsie poopsie.
Whoopsie poopsie.
Oh, it's just while you were fixing it. That was fine.
Yeah.
You'll have to tell us when we're back, I guess.
We should be back at some point very, very shortly. Because like we're streaming now. Like
No Nines says it just didn't stop, so that's good.
Oh, excellent.
Oh.
Cool.
Let's never speak of this again.
Yeah, I guess. Okay,
We're all
then.
gonna
It's all
pretend this didn't
fine.
happen.
It's all fine.
Okay, cool. Right. Well, we're back then. So, yes. So Wren is in her quarters. Sorry about that, everyone. Wren is in her quarters. Joey and Hertha are in at their stations. All you guys have to do now is unload your cargo, I guess. You have a vague enough idea of how cargo carrying works. You are usually expected to take your cargo to a warehouse or a freight operator's, or go to a freight operator's office, and then get a receipt, and then your cargo will be stored in the warehouse until it can be taken on elsewhere. Whilst you don't have that much cargo, you have one crate. It's probably best to observe this anyway because it's protocol, so...
Hang on. Can Ren walk over to the other people and just ask, what are we doing about the crate? Because... Well, she's going to say, what are we doing about the crate, guys? Because we were told that we'd be met by someone here. Is that right, Bertha? Hertha, not Bertha.
Stop calling me Bertha.
Sorry, I did it once by accident and I
This has
can't
happened
stop.
a few times over the last couple of days.
Hertha, what specifically were we told to do about the crate when we got here, says Wren.
I don't. She looks to Joey and just kind of like, meeting someone. Meeting someone. We're gonna meet someone.
Okay.
You were told that you would be approached by somebody on the other end. Yes.
On the docks or just like somewhere.
You'd just be approached by somebody. It was incredibly vague, but it was also 10,000 gold. So
Did you not
I didn't
ask...
realize we were gonna deliver the package already. Holy shit. That's the easiest mission of my life.
Joey, did you not ask who we were meeting or where?
No. She didn't ask anybody anything. She just saw 10,000 gold and said, I need to find someone with a ship. And that was that.
Well, to be fair, I didn't ask either, so I'm gonna go check on the engine.
the general consensus between the people that understand how this process works is that it's probably best to store it safely in a warehouse, get the receipt, and then hand the receipt off to the person, because they can then take the receipt to the freight operator and be like, "This is my stuff." That's the general
thinking.
legal stuff behind it.
Does Ren know how safe the docks here are for storage? In terms of are they corruptible? Is it really secure? What's the kind of level of safety we can expect for the passage if we take it off the ship before we know who we're giving it to?
Wren is from this tether, isn't she? She's not from Shale, which is where we are.
She is. The other characters don't know she's from here, but she is, yes.
She's from this tether. It's a big tether.
Okay.
It could be from
Fine.
anywhere.
Well, maybe they can maybe know that then. I don't know, but yeah, okay.
So, as in, I mean, player knowledge and character knowledge is two different things anyway. But the only reason I ask is because
the tether is the whole island, right?
Yes,
And it's a big island.
yeah, it's about 250 square miles.
Okay.
It's big. And I say player knowledge and character knowledge are two different things. And I only ask because I would like you to roll a history check, and
Okay.
that knowledge has changed the difficulty level at which I've set this.
Oh, no.
All right, I'm rolling a
No, it's
d20.
for the good.
Which gives me a 16, and then my history is +1, so 17.
17. Yeah, actually, you've heard pretty good things about the Shell docks. People here, as with many dockland areas, are gruff and just doing their jobs. But by and large, they do their jobs well. They're not here to talk. They're here to safely store and pass on cargo. So, if you guys wanted to store a thing here, this is a good place for it.
All right, Wren isn't going to object to doing that then.
Yeah, no objections from Joey.
Okay, cool.
Hertha just kind of follows along, so yeah.
Fair enough.
Hertha, you are the captain.
I know. Captain by default.
Captain
Put that
in
on the
name, not
t-shirt.
nature.
If anyone tries any mutiny, she will join in.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yes,
Okay.
I shouldn't be captain anymore.
She's like, you know what, I really think we should overthrow Hertha. And she's like, yeah, you're right. Anyway,
Thank God, I
Okay.
didn't want to say anything, but yes.
okay, so you guys move down into the cargo hold. Like I say, it's a wide open area, mostly made of metal. It's got just some support beams. It's a cargo space. You guys move down through the stairwell to the back of the ship. And as I say, this cargo space is just a big, mostly empty metal container with a large door that kind of opens down like a drawbridge. It's kind of one of those kind of hatches with a large door at the end.
So Firefly
It's
style.
empty, except for Firefly style. It's mostly empty.
Wait, do we not have any food?
You've got food and stuff in the kitchen. You're not that
Okay.
incompetent. Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry. I
I was
got
gonna
you.
say,
I wouldn't
I mean,
have
with this
expected
group,
much of
it-
Hertha in the first place, but if she forgotten food, that would be kind of bad.
Yeah, with this group, that would be kind of a toss-up. Like, hey, do we have any food on the ship? And they're like, oh.
Shit. Food.
Okay. Anyway, so it's mostly empty except for this one crate. It's about 5 foot deep, 4.5 foot tall, about 4.5 foot wide. And like I say, it's surprisingly heavy. Like, obviously, wooden crates are heavy enough as it is, but whatever is in this thing it's quite heavy. It takes about 2 of you to carry it. But
Considering I'm tiny, I'm gonna just like as they're carrying it out, I'm just gonna kind of walk next to it with my hand kind of like on the underside if I'm lifting it, but not.
I helped.
Yeah.
But as I say, Hertha and Joey did manage to get
no.
this in by themselves. So I would like. I'm assuming both of you are going to pick this up and take it out.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Me too.
Ren, I'm assuming you're
I'm
going to go and open the
helping,
door,
I'm helping.
do all of that.
We need to get like a little basket on our backs, Wren.
You want me on your back?
You guys have like a perpetual like mild burn on the back of your neck because she refuses to not spot weld in the basket.
No, I don't think Ren is gonna want to be on your back.
Skyblinder says 1d10 for food, which actually is not a bad idea.
Oh no.
Oh no.
That's a 10, you lucky sods. You've got plenty of food.
Oh, lovely. Do we have any food? I assume that we're gonna like leave the ship for a bit now. So, do we have any food on us? What kind of food do we have? Is it worth taking some with us, or is it better off going to a
If we have
tavern or
any
something
beef
and buying some
jerky,
food
Hertha
there?
will have some.
So, you guys...
We have 10 food, like a whole 10.
The whole 10 food. So you
Thanks,
guys
Joda.
would know that... hang on, let me just get this up here. It requires a little bit of finagling, but that's fine. Okay, so you guys are around here, I guess. The markers are comically large, so people watching the stream can see this a little bit better. For big maps like this, they're going to remain comically large, and they're just more of an indicator of where these people are in a city as opposed to where they are precisely. Noinizer says we didn't see the 10 on this scene. Yes, okay, right, so for roles that I do, I have my own dice. The DM, the Dungeon Master, usually plays behind a screen. and most of what I do as the person running and refereeing the game is hidden from the players. So any rolls that the players do will be made using our patented dice rolling method. Any rolls that I do will be kept secret. And if you're first, obviously I'll tell you when I've done it, otherwise there'd be no point in me doing it. But like, if your first thought is that sounds abusable, then yes, you are completely right. I could just lie, and I might sometimes. Anyway.
It's the only joy a DM has. Leave him alone.
Yes, exactly. This is all I have in this hellscape of a game. Okay, so you guys are here, roughly, more or less. And what are we doing? We're carrying some stuff out. Oh yeah, food. That was what you were asking. So, you guys know that I started making a key and then stopped. This circle here, this little area here, is the freight office where you must go to fetch this receipt. And this double X here is
the dock bag.
Docklands Hall is what it's called. It is a bar, which has rooms where people can stay and does serve food. So if you want to get some food while you're out, you guys do have 5,000 gold between you. So you know, I would say before you guys fully get off the ship, just because you have 5,000 gold does not mean you should carry 5,000 gold.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So if you want to leave some on the ship and just keep a note of how much spending money you've taken, it's probably a good idea.
Hang on,
Okay.
so what? Wren and Hertha have just taken Joey onto the ship, and Joey still has the entire 5,000 on her. She hasn't paid us any. Like, well, how is this money currently distributed?
Okay,
Well,
I
this is
think
a
we have it
fantastic
like
question.
maybe we have it in like a fellow pot for now.
So on the ship.
Yeah, so it's just on the boat,
Yeah.
Okay.
I suppose. And then I guess we can take like a tiny bit of money right now for ourselves.
Yeah, I would say we each take like, I don't, how much is
5,000 divided by 3. Give me a second.
You would most likely have been given a bank bond for the majority of it.
We each get 1,666 gold.
And I
would most
definitely
likely
would
have been
not
given a
take
bank
all that
bond.
off at once.
For 4,000, and then could have requested 1,000 in cash easily.
So if we have the 1,000 in coins, I would say we leave most of it on the boat. We each get like, I don't know, 100 coins.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then I think that would be good.
Okay.
Yep, that's a good idea for sure.
Do you want me to keep a note of my own coins on hand?
Yes,
Yeah.
you probably should. Yes,
We're
that's a
just
good idea.
noting down the coin we ourselves have.
Lego Louisma says, nice maps. And I say thank you. EJ Monkey says, sometimes you have to lie to keep the game from exploding, which is exactly how DMing works.
It didn't help me though.
Okay,
So,
so
Wren kind of puts her hand against the ship and just says to Hertha, "Did you lock it?"
Oh. Do I lock it? Do I lock it? I start looking for a key in my pockets.
Wren rolls her eyes because she thought this might have happened.
I like how it's been 2 days
what
and
would,
Ren
what
is
would
already
even make
just
you
sitting-
roll for absent-mindedness? I genuinely don't know. I guess...
A history check? Well, that would be whether she knows whether she's locked it or not.
I guess just like a wisdom check for the foresight to take the key with you.
2 days.
I was still checking. Okay.
Roll a
10.
wisdom check for me, please.
10 plus 2 is 12.
You remembered the keys. You search your pockets. They're in the last one you look for through. Which actually, now I say it, and this has been brought up to me in the past. I was at a pub once and someone was looking for their car keys. They hadn't been drinking. Yeah, they were looking for their car keys, and they were
Oh,
like,
not this story.
It's always in the last pocket you look for, isn't it? And somebody who we don't know went, well, of course it's in the last place you find it. You found it.
Yeah.
But they're in the last. They're. You find it in a pocket significantly far enough in the chain of pockets you've searched for it to be slightly embarrassing. And
I like the whole time Joey's just holding this crate, like.
and you put the key into the lock, and the ship is locked.
Do you take the keys out of the lock, Hertha? Do you remember?
I locked the ship, and then I just stand there for a bit, and then I slowly drag the keys out, and then I very, very pointedly put it in one pocket so that I surely remember it for next time.
EJ says "Captain" in capital letters.
Thank you.
Can I add a retroactive action, please? I forgot to say because we were getting off the ship. Wren has strapped on her parachute now that we've left the ship.
Okay. Yes. So as you guys left, you notice that Wren has put a parachute on. It's just a small gnome-sized parachute. And she is continuing to walk as if there is nothing wrong with this.
Hertha cannot tell if it's a parachute or a backpack. So
Fair enough.
Joey wants to know if she's planning to jump off of somebody's shoulder. Thing.
Do you say that out loud, or
Yeah. Do you ask me that?
Yes.
Jump off someone's shoulders? Say no. I just say no.
just bluntly, pointedly, just nope,
Yeah. Just
and then continue?
no. I guess I'm heading towards the. I guess what we should be. Are we still carrying this box?
Yes, we've had this crate.
We're carrying the thing all the way up to the warehouse, right? Because we said
damn.
Yes. So in the warehouse district, which is the blue one, the purpley blue one, you have the circle, which is the main office, as it were, and then like a couple of these terraces are like houses for people that work in the warehouse district, but most of these places are storage facilities. So what you would do, usually if you had like a large amount of cargo, we're talking like commercial cargo, you would you keep most of it on the ship. You would go get a requisition order for the tools you need to get it off the ship and then continue. But for small amounts of cargo like this, it's not uncommon to just carry it over there and be like, "Oh, mate, where can we put this?" So you guys can do that. Oh no, that's not the district overlay. That's Wren who just disappeared. So you guys are carrying a nondescript crate through a dock. So you're basically incognito. People are sort of pushing past you, moving like a few people are a bit annoyed that you're moving on the y-axis while everyone else is moving across the x-axis in a bit of a hurry. But apart from that, you're fine.
Wren, I'd like to look around to see if I can spot anybody who looks like they're looking for us, or like the crate.
Make a
Who might have
perception
seen
check.
us like leave the ship. A
A
perception,
perception check, please.
I am gonna roll a d20, and I get 7. And my perception is where is that? Is +3, so 10.
You don't see anything of note. Obviously, throughout your entire life, you've dealt with sort of semi-serious short jokes and such. From
I am very short.
the
Yeah.
taller races. However, in scenarios such as this, where you are in a densely packed area, this is basically a dock in rush hour. So, like you can see some people, but not at a great distance. You walk over to a staircase and try and sort of like climb up onto a wall. You still don't really see anything.
Okay.
Not anything of note, anyway. Okay. So, you guys can just continue on towards the
Yep.
freight officer's office if there's nothing else you guys particularly want to do.
I mean,
No, I
Hertha's
think we should just going.
Yeah,
Just go, do your job.
Hertha is kind of looking around, but she's sort of like absent-mindedly because I feel like Joey's dragging her along by the crate.
Yeah, since Hertha had to stop to like dig her keys out of the pocket, and Joey had to hold the crate by herself, her arms are kind of hurting.
So
Wren asks Joey whether she can see any kind of clerk or somebody who's there to collect delivered packages.
So Joey's gonna walk up to the like the little front desk thing in the warehouse office and just kind of very bluntly ask, "Is anybody here looking for?"
So you guys walk up the steps, and it's about a 5-minute walk, especially like lugging this crate. You reach this office without much hassle, and say Joey walks in and says, "Is there anybody looking for us?"
Yeah, is there anyone looking for a box?
For a box. Now the trade operation here is quite large, but the freight coordinator's office is quite small. And instead of a front desk, it is more just like a you've seen like one of those prefabs on a building site that kind of like the site operator sits in. It's kind of like one of those, but more of like a permanent shed. Part brick, part wood, whatever. But it does clearly say freight coordinator over the top of the door, so you guys walk in. As you walk in, you see a male gnome sitting behind a desk, just rifling through some paperwork and stamping things. And as you go in and say, "Is anyone looking for a box?" Was it that bluntly?
Yeah, it was just straight up. Anyone looking for a box?
So you open the door. Did you knock?
Nope.
You just open the door to what anybody could really work out is probably the most important person on this entire job site. And go, "Oi, anyone looking for a box?" This gnome just sort of scribbles some things, stamps a bit of paper, moves it to one side, scribbles some more stuff, scratches his head a little bit, thunk as he stamps another sheet of paper, and he sort of looks up, moves his large circular glasses down his nose and went, That's the basis of this entire operation. Can I help you?"
Wren speaks Gnomish, right? Is that the language?
Yes, she would.
Gnomish?
Gnomish, whatever, yeah.
Okay, can she sort of interject and in Gnomish sort of to try and get on his good side, sort of go, "I'm really sorry about my colleague. She's new to this, doesn't really understand what we're doing. Luckily, I'm pretty sure she doesn't speak Gnomic. She's not the smartest when it comes to dealing with other people, but look, we're probably just looking to store this for now. If you have a moment to help us out or tell us where to go to put this." Sorry.
Roll a persuasion check.
That's going to be a 5. I'm getting such bad rolls. 5 plus. I think I do have fairly good persuasion. No, I don't. It's +1. 6.
6.
Great.
If anything, the rolls on the tangent patented dice rolling method, the rolls from this system, this game, nobody can ever suggest that we balance them in our favour. This is completely random, and apparently the fates just hate these players. Meow Purlington, which is a fantastic name, says, "Sorry, she's an intern." Lee Spork made it. Hey, Lee. Good to see you. The gnome sort of looks down to you and in Gnomish. Do any of the other two speak Gnomish? Do Hertha and Joey speak Gnomish?
Oh shit, do I?
Nope.
No, I speak halfling.
Oh, that's fair enough. Which
I think
is
you'll find they're
close.
very different language.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very different.
I just kind of assume like they're both small.
Don't compare
dear.
them, please.
And I'm assuming Joey only really speaks common and the language of the fist, so...
What do you think? She's gonna walk in and just go glub?
Which is probably the only thing you could have done to be more offensive in this scenario, but okay. The freight coordinator looks down to you, Hertha, Wren, and in Gnomish continues with, I What do you all want?
Store the box.
He stares
Hertha
around
says
at the
from the
silent
back of the
group.
room.
I
Thank
did
you,
already
Hertha.
tell him that that we were looking for somewhere to store the box.
Yeah, it's like, right, okay, look, if it's a storage receipt you want, then that's fantastic. For God's sake, he looks down. He's like, right, that'll be 25 for the receipt, which the recipient of whoever is picking it up should reimburse you on pickup. And he looks
So Joey can put the 25 down.
Yeah, Wren looked pointedly at Joey.
Yeah, Joey can put the 25 down, and she just kind of like pulls it out of the sock in her pocket and sit on.
1 second, just making some notes.
Also, hello, meow.
Okay, so Joey puts the 25 down, and the gnome looks up and he just goes, okay. Oh, I'm getting some feedback.
Ooh, yeah,
it
me too.
stopped. Fantastic. And he looks up to Joey and goes, okay, good. He reaches into the desk drawer and picks from a neatly stacked, you can see, pile of receipts. It's an A4 sheet of paper that just has various terms and whatever on it. He looks to you all and goes, and what is it we're storing?
A box.
Joey's gonna kind of look at Hertha and wait for her to say something because she's the captain.
Hertha just says from,
When
like,
it
from the back
suits
of the
you.
room. Hertha's just like, it's a box.
He brings his glasses further down his nose and he goes, yes, that is the basis of this entire operation. What's in the box?
Hertha just looks around like tiny panic, but he's like, we don't know. We weren't supposed to look in it.
Wren again in gnomish, trying to kind of melt this
Diffuse the
goblin's
situation.
icy heart. Just sort of goes, again, I'm so sorry. We haven't been told what's in the box. That's not part of our job. We're just delivering it. But we know that it's valued at 10,000 gold. If that helps you with insurance pricing.
He brings his glasses further up his nose to where they should sit, and then brings them down to like half mast again. And he's like,
I've never had my emotions so twisted by a pair of glasses.
he taps the desk with his pen, and he just goes, so you mean to tell me that you were offered a large amount of money to deliver a package of unknown description to my dock?
Joey's gonna say, yeah, but it was a large amount of money and, not a lot of work, so it seemed kind of reasonable.
Hertha starts to realize there might be some bad stuff in this packet, like, finally. She's
He
like,
brings his
"Oh."
glasses back up his nose to where they should rest, looks Joey dead in the eyes and go, did I say 25 for the receipt? I meant 100.
Hertha walks up to the desk and just starts counting, like, 1, 2.
Counting gold.
Hang on. Wren stops you. Wren's like, hang on. If do we really want to store our boxes with somebody who says 25 and means 100? It's like he doesn't really know what he's doing.
You saying that out loud?
Oh yeah, to Hertha.
Okay,
Hertha looks very panicked between Wren and the gnome and just going, what are you doing?
Oh dear, I hear dice being rolled.
Oh no.
Skyblinder says kick him in his tiny gnome bollocks. The other option being suggested in the chat is a quick flirt with the gnome to turn that around. Oh yeah, this screen doesn't have
this would
character
be a
names.
good time-
Okay, I'm going to switch to the
good time
battle
for a
map
gnome to
briefly
push him.
to answer Light Chow's question. Sparks is playing
okay, that's
Wren, Pokerpug is playing Yosefa, and Mir is playing Hertha, if that answers your question. I will change this this screen to reflect that for the next session. That's a very good point, well caught. Yeah, okay, so the gnome looks down at Wren and he goes, I'll repeat. You're telling me that you were offered an obscene amount of money to store a package that you don't know the contents of at my dock, and you expect me to not be in the slightest bit suspicious? The extra 75 is for the insurance.
Can Joey try to haggle?
She can certainly
Hertha just
try.
keeps counting out the money. She just keeps counting out. He just keeps,
Hertha is
she's like,
counting down,
she's gonna
clink,
pay.
clink, clink. So, like, all these coins onto the desk. She's bringing out notes and just making it rain onto this gnome's desk. Joey, if you would like to haggle, it seems like now is the time.
Yeah, Joey's gonna try to haggle. She's gonna kind of be like, 100 seems a little steep for insurance.
The gnome looks, roll a persuasion. Or, well, it depends. Are you suggesting or are you telling?
Suggesting.
Okay, roll persuasion.
Let's just beat the shit out of this gnome.
That's
I got
all right.
11.
Got an 11. And
Plus.
I don't remember which one that is.
persuasion is its own skill.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm just answering in the chat. Yeah, persuasion is its own skill.
Okay, so then it's just +2, so 13.
Okay, cool. He looks to you, brings his glasses down his nose again, and he goes, look, you can either pay up the 100 right here and now, or alternatively,
I'm doing that.
you can take your weird, potentially dangerous crate back to your boat and you can store it there. But don't get me wrong, I'm not allowing mysterious quantities of anything unknown to be stored on my site. Are we clear?
Quantities unknown.
Did you say that?
Did you say that out loud?
I think we know she did.
Wren has now turned away from the goblin and is now glaring at you.
Highs or lows?
Hi.
The gnome looks at you, is like 110.
Hertha just kind of scowls at Joey and just starts counting up more money.
You only have 100, don't you?
I know, but the 25
Yeah,
is
this is
already
the problem.
paid.
You're going to need to borrow a tenner off somebody.
No, because he already paid 25.
True,
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
So yeah, I basically have to count out all my money now. Haven't I?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Joey's gonna
Joey!
Joey's gonna put her hand on Hertha to try to make her stop counting. And she's gonna tell her that we don't need to give this old gnome geezer any money for anything. We can keep it on the ship and guard it ourselves. It's gonna be like this.
Does Wren know whether there's anyone else, whether this is the only place we can leave our package, or whether we can go somewhere else and try again and just tell them it has bananas in it?
Roll history.
I'm getting a... Come on, 2!
Okay, Wren.
From
Stop.
what
three
you
is 5.
vaguely know of Shale, this is basically your options were laid out in front of you. Your options are this gnome's warehouse site or the cargo hold of the gubbin. Those are basically
This is
it.
our first NPC encounter. God damn it, guys!
He feels like a boss, honestly. Except the weapons are words. And instead of steel, it's gold.
The pen may be
Oh my
mightier
God.
than the sword, but in this job site, this gnome is king. So, and he
Okay.
doesn't like you very much. He looks at you all like, 110, or I'll have this package escorted off my site.
Hertha just pushes it up like 110 gold.
He looks to you.
And just says like, I'm sorry.
He looks directly at Hertha, and like there's a little bit of surprise in his eyes, frankly, as he begins to very slowly, brow furrowed, just fill out the necessary forms. So he's like, ship name, which I'm assuming you give.
Yep.
I thought he was gonna start counting the coins one by one, and I was like, Hertha just did that.
Oh no, he was doing that as she wasn't paying. He wasn't paying a lot of attention to you guys. Frankly, he was paying attention to the 110 gold being shoved across his desk.
Dear.
Okay, and ship's captain.
That's me. Hertha.
He looks up. He's like, really?
She's like, shrugs her shoulders, like, yeah.
I would have
Wren-
thought it
Wren
was
just-
okay.
Ren
he
just
writes
lowers
that
the
down.
goggles over her eyes and folds her arms and kind of huffs.
He goes, okay, package. Writes, linen. Okay. Underlines, signs his name at the bottom in a cursive script that you can't really read. Stamps it with an ink stamp and then hands it over to Hertha. And he goes, hand that over to whoever you're meeting. They should reimburse the 25, and then you guys can be on your way. And he sort of just gives a general berth of the room and is like, and I suggest you get on your way. And he's like, if there's nothing else.
No.
Dungeons and
Hertha
Dragons is
turns
supposed to be an
to just-
escape from reality, but we just spent half.
Hertha leaves.
Oh,
As you turn around, this gnome waves his hand, and anyone familiar with the spell Mage Hand will be familiar with the purple hand that opens at the door behind you, opens the door handle and pulls the door open for you.
She just says, thank you, and then she leaves.
He just goes, mm-hmm, and with his other hand, just continues to stamp bits of paper.
in a brief moment of clarity, Joey's gonna say, do you want us to take this box somewhere, or do you think you can carry it?
To who? Hertha, I'm hoping.
No, she asked the gnome.
Oh god, he looks up and dispels the mage hand, and the door, this entire office is kind of on a slope, and it slowly just
Oh no!
shuts as Hertha's like almost at it. And he goes, and he gets a bit of scrap paper, licks his hands, folds it in half, sort of like dabs his hands across it, rips it in half, and then writes down just a name, folds it in half. It's like, go across the way, ask for this guy, he's a big lad, he'll be able to carry it to one of our, it should say which warehouse on the thing, and he holds out the slip of paper that he's just written on.
Hertha's just trying to figure out what happened to the door.
Is Hertha
Maybe
familiar
he-
with magic? You'd assume so.
Maybe Wren should take the paper.
It's like a tiny bit.
Roll an Arcana check while Joey works out what she's doing with the paper.
Yeah.
The gnome is holding it out, expecting you to take it.
All right, Joey's just gonna take it. She's gonna say thank you. Also,
Alright, did I
side
roll?
note, I just got a private message that says, "Why is the barbarian more reasonable than?"
Wait, what?
Oh dear. Yeah,
What
you're
did
rolling
I
an
say?
Arcana check. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like. You do know what it is.
Wait, what did I roll?
17.
You rolled a
Oh, okay.
17.
It didn't show up for me.
You might
Fuck.
want to refresh if you can't see it.
Yeah, I tried. Okay, yeah, 17 plus 1. What's Arcana? Plus 1, so 18.
18.
I do know
Yeah.
what magic is.
So I'd like to point out that the Tangent patented dice rolling system rolls low when it matters, but rolls really high when one of the characters is trying to work out what happened to the floating purple hand. You recognise it as Mage Hand that has been dispelled. You weren't too sure originally because of the shame, but it's...
I feel very annoyed that we now have to go and find a guy to carry this pack. Already paid an insane amount of money to have it taken off her.
In fairness,
I don't want
usually
to
it's not
go
an insane
and
amount of
find
money.
a guy. I don't want to go find a guy after all this.
EJ Monkey is just shaming me in the chat.
Are you saying this out loud?
No, this is me, Sparks, going. This is really annoying.
Well, this is how it is. You want to think about it from his side of it. If a bunch of people had come onto your job site and gone, "Hey, we're really dodgy," then I'm surprised he offered you anything.
Where did he say we go to find this person?
Just across the way. It was a very
Across
vague.
the way and ask for a dude, a very big dude. Is it big?
The
dude?
way.
Yeah.
As you guys would have noticed on the way in, and you can kind of see it on the map that's currently. It should be on screen. There we go. You guys notice on the map here, where I'm currently circling with my cursor, is a very large warehouse, and the gnome kind of gestured in its vague direction, so anybody could probably work out that he probably meant there.
All right, so I guess they don't have the box anymore because they left it, so they're just gonna go towards that guy with the paper.
Yeah, where is the box? Is the box outside?
No,
Oh,
it was inside.
Okay.
Inside? He just brought it into his office. It was like, all right, mate, where do you want it?
Okay.
We don't have a receipt yet for this box.
You do.
I have it. I have a receipt.
Oh,
You do
okay,
have
sorry, I
I'm
missed
gonna
that.
write down. Hertha has a receipt.
We have the receipt,
love
and we
how-
have a sheet of paper with someone's name on it, or is his name on the?
We have paper with his. We have a paper with the guy's name on it that we need to find. Hertha has the receipt for the box.
Yes, they are two different things. So Hertha was given the receipt, which is the official documentation for your package, and then you were also given just like the name of somebody who this gnome is confident enough could lift this box for you and store it properly.
Hertha should
Quest
definitely have the
unlocked.
receipt.
Find a guy.
Quest unlocked, find a dude.
Find a dude. Dude finder.
EJ says, how do they get it through the door? You'd imagine like a sofa. Like, it's not particularly tall as far as a package is concerned. Would it have been graceful? No. Especially seeing as this place is on a slope, the door would have shut several times on it.
You need to tell me this poor man had his door thrown open. 3 people marched the box in.
It's time to see his perspective.
Sofa, and then went.
He's starting to come round to this guy's way of thinking now.
Yeah. I mean, Wren is just gonna like power walk. She's got like 2 hands, 1 hand on each strap of her parachute. She's power walking out of the office.
Is she expecting someone to kick her off of the tether? Like, bye, Ren.
No.
Oh, okay.
Sky
Do we
blinder.
carry the box out? Do we carry the box out?
No, the box is chilling.
Roll a strength check.
Ren's just like, psst, psst, hey, leave it. Get out of here.
So are we
Hertha's
taking
trying-
the box or are we leaving the box? The
We're
party is
taking the
split.
box. Hertha?
Hertha tries.
Hertha, leave the
No.
box.
She kind of looks to the gnome and looks to Wren and she's like, I don't want to be rude. Just kind of tries to drag it out of herself.
Hertha, I'd like to roll a strength check.
Oh wait, you're taking the box.
I'm trying to take the box.
Oh, that's
We
quite
need
good.
to give Ren like a spray
17.
bottle. Just stop it.
Did I get a
Stop.
17?
Yeah,
Yes,
you got a
plus...
17.
Yeah, okay, it's not showing up for me, so you guys gotta tell me. Okay, strength plus strength, that's a plus 4, so that's a 21.
Cool. Okay. You managed to actually get quite a good grip on it, and using some general lifting technique, you can lift it, no problem. But because of the length and the general shape of this box, it's still quite difficult. So, in your sort of panicked hurry,
Yeah.
and I would like you to make a wisdom check, I guess.
Wisdom check? Oh
Yes,
shit,
please.
this is where I fuck up. Okay.
Oh no, Hertha's stupid.
Hertha's got a 14 in wisdom. It's fine. It's
No,
like a
14 plus 2, that's a 16.
Woo!
16. That's not too bad. You get a generally decent hold. You're a bit flustered.
Yep.
You use general lifting technique to grab the underside. Joey, at any point are you helping?
Joey's kind of watching this happen, and she's looking
Okay.
at Wren, who's telling her to leave it. She's like, Hertha, maybe put it down.
Wren, are you holding the door open, I guess? Not necessarily for her, just by necessity.
I'm making vigorous gesturing motions, both like in a downward direction to tell her to put the box down, and also an outward motion, just get out of the office.
Skyblinder says, just to remind people who might have missed it, Hertha the Meek is a barbarian. Also, Hertha the Meek is a fantastic name. Hertha the Meek is a barbarian. She gets enraged and beats people to death. What's that? John Anino says, hi peeps. Hi John Anino. Meow Purlington says, this gnome is not paid enough for that job. Which, correct.
I'd say at this point he has been paid more than enough.
I stand by my point that we need to give Wren a bottle so you can just stop it.
As Hertha just starts to move forward, you just hear just the general scraping of just like wood on wood as Hertha just drags this box across this person's floor. This isn't a particularly nice office, but you have made the floor worse.
Oh no! She panics and drops it.
She drops it.
She panics by the scraping sound.
She panics and drops, and as she drops it, how close to her are you? Anybody, in fact, were you near the box or just like 5 feet away?
Joey was like just behind Hertha, ready to catch it in case she dropped it, but she dropped it the wrong way.
Okay, in that case, I would like you to roll roll a dexterity first.
A saving throw or not?
This is Joey. Joey, roll dexterity.
Which one is that?
Just straight dexterity.
Which way does the door open? There's no door icon on this.
Opens inwards.
Okay, I'm basically outside. My arm is inside, holding the door open.
Yep. Okay. Cool. So you've basically already left by your arm.
I have tried to leave so hard.
Yes, Joey.
My friend is in the chat. Hey, Joey.
Joey, straight dexterity.
Which one?
Another
Just dexterity. So I think 11 plus 0.
Okay, yeah.
So if you want to roll a d20.
Thank you.
John Nannino, goddammit, my name is Joey. My heart jumped and the DM said, Joey, are you helping?
Okay. So, you see Hertha panic and get ready to try and catch this box. It kind of like brushes past your hand as you try and grab it. I'd like you to make another straight dexterity roll, please.
Oh, jeez. 18.
Oh, cool. Okay. You, instead of focusing your efforts on trying to like get a handhold on this box, you throw your feet backwards as this box slams down into the floor where your toes would have been.
Oh,
Jesus.
The gnome looks up and is like, would you rather mind please getting out of my office?
Hertha's like, I'm trying. She just started.
Wren just says, Hertha, leave the box. Come out here, please.
Hertha just kind of leaves the office like a kicked puppy.
I'm just sort of, I'm like power walking, but obviously I'm fairly short. Joey, Hertha, how fast do you walk?
Joey's gonna throw one extra gold piece at the gnome.
Roll.
Oh no! You know it's gonna
dex.
make you roll for that.
Roll dex. Are you doing it like offhand as you leave, or
Yeah.
is it like overhand throw, or are you like trying to really cool, just like flick it with your thumb?
Yeah,
We
pretty
have
much
to
that,
deliver
like a
the
little
box.
underhanded
I don't know what's
talk.
going on anymore.
Okay, roll dexterity.
Oh
D20.
no, I hope I don't hit him in the head.
No!
Three.
It
You're gonna hit
flies
him in
off
the
into the corner of the room and hits a potted plant. You chip a bit of the pot.
No!
I'm making such a bad impression. Oh god! What happens when we actually have to fight something? Jesus, we can't even handle paper.
Oh, dear me. As you guys exit, the door very slowly just thunk shuts. under its own power. So, just taking stock of what's just happened, you guys have left the freight coordinators building, leaving your package in there. So what do you want to do now?
We should get the package.
Anyone else's day you want to ruin, or
So Joey
Go back
says
inside.
The kind of like creaks the door up a bit, and it's just like, do you still want us to get it? Like, do we still need to carry it out?
no. Joey's gonna grab Hertha's arm and be like, "Let's find this guy. We have to go find this person."
Oh, but we needed the box to find the guy.
What?
Is
I thought
this-
we were telling him to pick it up from here.
No, we were gonna give the box to the guy, weren't
I
we?
thought we were sending him to come get it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought the whole point was that we were getting a guy to store it for us. Why would
Yeah, I
we
thought
be
we were
so
bringing it
hard,
to
I'm
him?
crying.
Pick it
You
up.
can't expect me to follow along.
Do either we as players or our characters understand what actually meant here? Because I thought we were going to tell the guy that there's a box for him to store.
That's what I thought too. I thought we were gonna find the guy and be like, "Hey, there's a box for you. Could you go hide it?"
Noodles.
oh, I literally don't have to do anything at this point. You guys have
No,
enough.
but like, no, we
gonna grab
misunderstand.
Do you
Joey's just gonna
misunderstand?
grab
Because
Hertha's arm and
I
say, "No."
feel like by this point your characters are a shambolic mess, currently trying to work out what's happening on the doorstep of a freight operator's office.
Right. Wren is gonna like storm up to Hertha, and she's gonna like storm up to her knees essentially. Where's my head in relationship to Hertha?
Okay,
How
Hertha is-
tall?
She's a
Hertha
halfling, so
No, Hertha is a very tall woman. She's 180 tall.
So I'm kind of like upper thigh level, sort of.
180
Or, like, closer to hips.
centimeters in feet. That's 5'9". That's
Yeah.
not horrendously tall.
I don't know. I don't know the measurements of anything.
Unless Mia's short in real life and she thinks 5'9".
yeah, I was
is
gonna
tall.
say.
I am.
Five.
She is
I
short.
am. I am short. I'm so sorry. Can I change my height? Can I just like change it?
Oh, Mia, did you enter a height that you thought was tall, but
Yeah.
it's just taller than you?
I did. What's tall in real life?
I'm taller than that.
Can you tell what's tall in real life? Can someone tell?
Probably like,
Like
6 feet.
over 6 foot is
Yeah,
tall.
like 6'2", 6'3".
But what's that in centimeters?
I don't know. 210.
This is
There
where
you
we
go.
find
210. Yeah. Sure.
Where we find out that Mir is only like
210.
5'2".
Earth is a tall woman. She's 210. We figured it out, boys.
Anyway, after pausing to essentially
Measure.
pull out a tape measure and get a
Thank
really
you,
good
Meow.
sense
He
of
says
the
it's very
height.
tall in Europe. Listen, Meow is on my side. It's very tall in Europe.
Ah, there we go then.
Meow is also
I'll have you know
incredibly
that for the time
short,
being,
so-
I'm in Europe, and I disagree.
Meow is,
Yep.
is sorry, what? Poke?
Meow is also incredibly short, so
Well,
Okay.
Okay, I'm banding with the short people. Okay, you guys are mean.
So she's 210.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to get back into that sort of anger that I had before I started being faced with measurement
I'm
questions.
gonna say though, even though Hertha is 210, she's still very scared of Wren. So
Ren storms up to her thighs.
I storm up to her
She's
thighs.
scared.
I give her a fair prod in the thigh. I'm like, why do you let people treat you like that? Come on, you need to stand up for yourself and not just pay people money when they ask you to.
okay.
Are you gonna be more aggressive with people because you're scared of me?
What?
Because I told you to. I don't
Yes.
know. Yeah, I'm just like, look. You need to be a little bit more like wary of people and less like happy to do whatever they say. And I realize this is me talking now. I realize this is a really ironic thing to say directly afterwards. But do you want me to look after your gold for you from now on, so that you can't just spend it immediately when someone asks you? Because then you can legitimately say you don't have any gold. You know?
I give her the 15 gold I have left.
15. Like, you can ask me if this is still your gold, and you can ask me for it any time. But I just figure that maybe, I could help you out here and just try and be a little bit like, I care about you, okay? But just don't you're lovely, but you're not good at this stuff sometimes.
This is where
I
Joey's
know.
gonna be really embarrassing and say, "We care about you."
What? Who cares about what?
Joey's just gonna be really embarrassing and be like, "Oh, we care about you too, Pooh."
You talking to Wren,
Yes,
and you called me Pooh.
Rennie Pooh.
Rennie Pooh. Okay. Wren just kind of. I don't know if you can really see that she blushes a little bit because she has a lot of soot on her face from the engine room. You get the impression that she might be blushing slightly. Just kind of adjusts her goggles and sort of goes, right. Since we don't seem to be able to decide what to do about this, I'm going to stay here and keep an eye on the package from outside. The door has a window, right? I can see it from out here.
You can't really see into the shed, as it were, but this is the only door. So
Okay. I'm going to hang out here and keep an eye on the parcel to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. Do you think you two can go and find what's his name? What is even his name on the? I can't see it. I'm too short.
was it
I
Joey's
think
got
Joey
it.
has it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you look down and through the sort of scroll, you can make out the name Rayard Gel. Reyardgel. Rayard Gel.
Okay. So she's going to look at Ren and Hertha and say, "Yeah, we can go find him. We're looking for a gel. I'm not sure if he was making fun of my gills or." Also, it was pointed out in the chat that Hertha is nearly 7 feet tall.
Yep, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
How tall is Joey?
Joey is like 5'11", just under 6 feet.
Okay.
Hertha's a giant.
Yeah. Okay.
So what you've done is you've made blonde Nordic Hagrid.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, that was my intention. And I've done it.
Fair enough. No, it's great because usually, like, when people use charisma as a dump stat, because I'd like to point out that everyone watching the stream playback right now can see that Hertha has a charisma score of 6, which manifests as, I believe, a -2 to anything charisma
-4.
based.
It's a -4.
-4 to anything charisma based.
No, it's not. No, it's a -2, actually. I wrote wrong.
Yeah, it is a
but,
-2.
like, it's -2.
It would
But yeah,
be
I
-2.
think I'm playing that very well.
Well, this is it, because like most people who I've played with or run sessions for that have had a charisma dump stat. For those unfamiliar with the parlance, a dump stat is just, oh, I rolled a 6, gotta put it somewhere. Like they'll just be like socially inept. They'll just be like angry idiots. This is a nice, refreshing take on a charisma score of 6 that I'm very behind. So this is good. Okay, so yeah, you guys know who you're looking for.
Yep.
If you look at the receipt that you guys have, you will see that Warehouse 1 is noted. And whilst you can't see specifically through the people moving backwards and forwards any numbers on the warehouse, it could be assumed that the big one is probably Warehouse 1. So
I'm feeling Jonano in the chat, by the way. I am exactly that tall. I am Nordic. I aspire to be Hagrid, and my name is Joey.
This is about you. Did you think that we invited you by coincidence? We're trying to realize some things about yourself, Joey.
Oh.
I'd like Wren to kind of look around and see what sort of surroundings she has. She's looking for some fairly like out of the way, unobtrusive, where she has a good view of the door, but isn't necessarily that visible herself.
Roll a perception check. While you're doing that, EJ at some point in the past said, "All right, I've got to go. We'll catch up on the VOD later." So this is for you on the VOD
Come
later.
on.
Goodbye, EJ.
8, 9, 10, 11. 8.
You notice a bench across the way. From where you're standing, if I, God damn it, I really need to work out.
The irony that I programmed this rolling system, and I would have been the one who could easily
And you're
have,
being
like,
screwed
rigged
by it the
and
most. If I remove the
It's
players
being a
briefly-
rebellious teenager.
So you guys are here next to the dock office, where the dock office, Spider-Man's greatest villain. You guys are there.
Doc office. Oh god.
I'm a professional writer. You guys are there. Sort of around here, next to this crane, you see a bench against the wall. This wall here, this sort of thinner line, then has like a 10-foot drop behind it where you can see kind of... you can see the Goblin from here, you can see a bunch of other ships, and then just out into the expanse of the sky. But there is a bench there, and you perceive it to be good enough, as it were, of a perch. Again, like, you know, it's the docks in rush hour, it's the warehouse district in rush hour. Like, there's a lot of people going around, none of them are paying... No, certainly no one further than a 25-foot radius from you is paying any attention. So...
Alright, I'm gonna go sit on the bench and just take some food out of my bag so I look like I'm there for a reason.
We're just going to have lunch.
Yeah,
Also-
I'll have lunch.
I'm gonna
Okay.
call out Meow, like, how dare you call me Bertha?
It's a thing now, she's just bad.
God damn it.
Meow says, "We love you," check scribbled note on hand, Bertha.
That's why I made the mistake originally, because I misread it from...
God damn it.
Yeah. No Nines thinks that I accidentally put if name is Sparks instead of if name is not Sparks for the bad rolls.
This is exactly
Yeah,
the
okay.
code.
Jed has a good point. I changed my description. I climb on and eat lunch.
Yes, there you go. Yes, this bench is not designed for gnomes specifically. Very few things are, unfortunately, unless you're in a very gnome-dense section. Marsden,
love
especially,
that.
is a very human-elf dense populated tether. Occasionally, you see Genasi. Not very many, though. Largely humans and elves. So not a lot of things are made for the shorter races, as it were. So, yeah, Wren clambers onto this bench and just starts trucking away, fuming, I imagine.
I'm exasperated and feeling a little
Exasperated.
bit-
She's given up. She's
a
buggered
little
off.
riddled.
She's gone to eat her lunch, leaving Hertha and Joey just to, I guess, go find this guy.
Okay. Hertha just kind of looks at Joe and is like, just kind of gestures around and like, let's go.
All right.
In no particular direction. Because she
Joey's
doesn't
gonna
know.
kind of look at Hertha and be like, maybe you should hold on to my jacket so we don't get lost.
Hertha holds on to Joe's jacket.
Can Ren check
they're-
that they appear to be going in the right direction?
Yeah, they do appear to be going towards what you guys sort of like
Okay.
communally
Yeah,
worked
Joey
out was
She
where
feels
there was one.
reassured.
You can
Joey's
trust
headed
Joey.
to
You
where
can't trust Hertha, but
Chester
you can trust Joey.
Okay.
You know what? I think I've got the illustrations the wrong way around on the battle map. I'm just going to put Hertha underneath Joey.
Yeah, they're just gonna walk in the general direction that the gnome waved, and they're gonna be looking for a guy who looks like his name could be Rayard.
Okay,
Apparently,
you
Gnome
guys.
Dense is a new album name.
Um,
And on the dark web exclusively.
2 notes per track. That's not a very dense track.
I guess in a note per second, it's less than a second.
You're all missing the chance to call it notes with a G.
Notes.
So Hertha and Joey walk off towards warehouse 1 as Wren just kind of sits down and sort of just shovels food into her mouth, sighing as she goes. What's Wren eating?
Food.
Beef
I'm
jerky.
trying to decide like what am I allowed to have, like pretty good roll on the food, but I'm guessing it's fairly like travel ration-y. How long were
sandwich.
we on the ship? How long were we like flying to get here?
Like 2 days.
2 days. Okay, so we could have a little bit of like freshish meat and stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
Okay, I'm gonna go with like a sandwich. Yeah. With a pickle.
Ooh.
Like clenched in the other hand.
Single but whole.
Yes. Pickles are really nice, and she kind of like takes small bites out of it to mix with the sandwich, to like add a bit of flavor. Mm-hmm. She's always done it this way. I mean, it would probably make more sense to just like cut the pickle into the sandwich, but I don't know. It just seems more fun, you know.
Yeah,
think of
fair.
food's fun, you know, when you kind of make it as you eat it.
Well, exactly. So as you're there, being weird,
and I'm watching the door,
watching the door, the other 2 have gone away now. I would like you to make a perception check.
Okay. Oh, I'm glad I stayed now.
I'm eating a raspberry chocolate. It's fucking nasty.
You were so excited for that before the stream.
I know, you were so delighted.
I got a 16
that good.
plus 3.
So
19.
19. You look around as you you eat your sandwich. People are milling around. As I've said several times over the course of this session, it's rush hour. There are people going around all over the place. You see people of varying races. Again, largely human and elf dense, but there are other races in there. There's halflings, a couple of other gnomes wandering backwards and forwards, stuff like that. Most of them are wearing thick work clothes. There's a lot of like thick trousers, thick jackets, work gloves, steel toe cap boots, etc., etc. Moving backwards and forwards, people are taking crates to and from areas. The crane that you're sitting next to. You may even sort of marvel at how well it works for how simple a contraption it is. It seems to be moving of its own volition. You imagine it's being controlled by something, and it's moving slightly larger crates sort of over towards the main warehouse area. You watch that for a bit, and you just sort of take in the sights and the sounds of Shale's Harbour. Having a nice, quiet lunch away from... this is the first time in 2 days that you've been truly away from these other 2. And after the events that led up to this point, it's probably for the best. You look around for a bit, and then you look back towards the door. And as you do that, it's sort of out the corner of your eye, you notice someone sit down next to you. They are wearing a sort of a brown, rugged hood. That's sort of it's like a hooded jacket with a jacket over it, and just quietly, only for you hear. So I hear you have a package for me, and that's where we're ending today's session. Thank you for watching, everybody.
No! What the fuck? No!
Thank you for watching, everybody. That has been the first episode of A Tangent About Dragons. We're looking at doing this once every couple of weeks. We're kind of going to intersperse it with the normal tangent stream with Sparks, Zacloud, and I, and then sort of once every couple of weeks or so. Obviously, it depends if I can sort of get an entire session together in that time, etc., etc. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you're in the Tangent Discord, which if you're not, you definitely should, I imagine a few of us will be around to answer any questions. We have a channel for A Tangent About Dragons set up as it is. Links to any homebrew content will be found in the description, as well as a link to the YouTube channel Sword Coast Soundscapes, who did the bar sounds for the pre-stream nonsense. They do very good work, and if you do D&D, then you should be using their stuff. But yep, as I said, thank you very much for joining us. Are there any parting words from the players?
This was fun. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes, I guess.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Hertha turned into more of a mess than I planned, but I love it.
It's fantastic. This is a great character.
I think Wren has become a lot more mothering than I expected to, but it's kind of fun.
Okay,
Joey's
well,
about the exact level of chaotic I expected.
well, thank you everybody for joining us, and we will see you same time, same place, 2 weeks from now. So in the meantime, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you when we catch you in a bit.
Thanks,
2
guys.
weeks. 2
Bye.
weeks. Bye.
Bye.